Morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great February vacation. Lots of news happened while we were on vacation, other than just snow and snow and snow. And snow down in Texas, causing catastrophe, and lack of snow in other places. So, other than the snow, and other than the weather, NASA finally landed its Perseverance rover into Jezero Crater on Mars. Launched back in July. I think it was July 30th. I made a video on it for people last year talking about the launch right before the launch itself, the day before. So that was July 29th. So I think the launch was July 30th. It took about 7 months to get to Mars. Mars was also at its closest approach to Earth in its orbit around the sun, so it would take the least amount of time. So at that point, still 7 months. There's a lot of space in space, hence the name, right? Eventually landing, and all things seem like they're going very well. Alright, so you can take a look back in the channel for that video if you're interested. Talk a little bit about the tech that's aboard Perseverance, the goal of Perseverance. I want to talk about Ingenuity, because I think that's really cool. I know Perseverance is really cool. I know looking on Mars for ancient life is really cool, but I think Ingenuity is kind of like the future of how we're going to start exploring the solar system. Even with human exploration, I think Ingenuity and its tech are going to be really important, an aerial kind of view. So today we'll talk about Perseverance, talk about Ingenuity. I do have a simple robot builder sim that I used to work with in classes, talking about space, building a rover, building a lander. It's called Incredibots. It used to only be used by Flash. I may have found somebody who saved a workable version as HTML5. So if you're unaware, Flash doesn't exist anymore, in Chrome anyway, and HTML5 is the standard. I think I found someone who saved a version. I don't know if it would be workable for you, but I'll put it out there to you if you were really interested. See if you can make your own version of Perseverance and or Ingenuity, or your own kind of rover lander. I used to have students talk about building a rover lander for going to Europa. Europa, being one of Jupiter's moons, has an ocean underneath its ice. Nick Anderson's watching today. Yes, it was. I'm not sure what part that was about, because we do have a slight, lag on YouTube. Design delay in chat and what you see. All right. So, I mean, I guess I'll just quickly I'm not going to show you the whole video, but at least just be able to see some of the tech that's aboard Perseverance. So Perseverance's main mission objective is to look for evidence of ancient life. And it's going to do it by going into different rock and quote-unquote, there's really no soil on Mars, but soil samples on the surface. Okay, very similar to what the Viking probes landers did. Just obviously updated technology and updated experiments that they're going to be working with and analysis. Viking landers landed in the late 70s, trying to look for if there was life on Mars. They did 3 experiments. 2 of the 3 failed to find life. One of them found a positive signal, but then it was under debate. Has been under debate since then about whether that was a false positive or not. And it looked like it was a false positive because of the perchlorate chemicals, the perchlorate molecules in the surface, which are kind of toxic to life that we know. So, was there life is kind of what we're going to look at. So really, not is there life now. I mean, obviously that would be great to find. There is a methane kind of cycle that's happening on Mars. I think Curiosity discovered that. I think it was them. I think it was that rover. I don't know. My rover behind me in my classroom. I'm on the whiteboard now. So methane usually, to have a cycle, you usually need some kind of organic source, or you need to have some kind of extreme conditions found on Titan, moon of Saturn. So, Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, the rovers in the middle of the 2000s, 2004, 2005, 2006, and then afterwards, Curiosity, they were there to find evidence of water. Water being universal solvent, meaning that would be what any kind of life would probably be using. And what life as we know definitely uses. So they were looking for ancient water. That was a success. They found evidence of ancient water. Jezero Crater is probably in an ancient riverbed. So why not send Perseverance there to look for possible life? Okay. Thanks, Nick. Nick corrected me. Well, he let me know that I was right. It was July 30th, the day Perseverance launched. All right. So other tech on there, RimFax, ground penetrating radar, so that's going to help them look for samples. MOXIE, there's an attempt to convert CO2 into O2, liquid O2. That could be used for fuel or for eventually maybe into a breathable air system for future explorers. So can you convert the very, 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 very thin carbon dioxide based atmosphere on Mars? Remember, Earth is about 78-80% nitrogen. Then it has about that 19-20% oxygen gas, and the rest trace amounts of CO2, water vapor, argon. Whereas Mars is about 90, high 90% CO2, but it's very, 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 very thin. Okay, Mastcam Z. I mean, it's kind of hard to see all this without looking at the tech. So actually, Moxie's on the middle. Is that Mastcam Z? I think Mastcam Z is going to be kind of like this arm that comes down. Supercam identifies minerals. So you're going to see lots of different images. I mean, I'll try and find some images in a little bit. Meta, weather atmospheric data. And then more mineral identification, obviously, because you want to find biosignatures. And then Ingenuity, our first NASA helicopter. All right. Very, very small. I think they said it's the size of a golf ball. All right, but we've never had something fly in the atmosphere of another planet or another object. We have orbiters, we have landers, we have rovers. We don't have helicopters. This is the first attempt. And literally, the whole goal of Ingenuity is just to lift off and fly in Mars's very, very thin atmosphere. Again, it's got to spin, I think it's, I've read on CNN, about 90 times faster than a helicopter the same size in the Earth, because it needs to generate lift. It needs to get that air on Mars to move over the top and underneath those blades. There we go. So again, these blades have to work through a very thin atmosphere, generate enough lift to actually lift the helicopter. And if it launches and it's successful, 90% of its objectives will be met. So it's just about flying. It's a demonstration that it can work. So I'll take a look at Ingenuity. This is from CNN. It's linked in the description. Okay, Ingenuity helicopter phones home from Mars. So Perseverance is right here in the background. The rover dropped it off, and then NASA tried to communicate with it. No lifting off. It's just literally sitting there on the surface of Mars, trying to reach radio signal, radio contact with it. Things look positive, and so they will attempt liftoff at some point in the future. Take a look at this. Listen.
Let's talk about NASA, because they're planning to send a helicopter to the Red Planet. Yes, this is part of the agency's Mars Rover mission that launches in July of 2020.
So this chopper weighs just under 4 pounds. Its fuselage is about the size of a softball.
Helicopter to the Red...
All right, so, oops. It's about 4 pounds. The fuselage, so yeah, the boxy part of the helicopter is the size of a softball.
Blades will rotate about 10 times faster than a helicopter on Earth in order for
10 times. I think I said 90. I think I mixed it up with the mission objective.
To get liftoff in that Martian air. NASA hopes to demonstrate the viability and potential of heavier-than-air vehicles on Mars.
Somebody wants to go to Mars.
Yeah.
They want to set foot there, I think.
So very, very simple, animation look at Ingenuity. And its main focus is just literally to lift off. That would be a mission success. Okay? If successful, Ingenuity will be the first helicopter to fly another planet, leading to an extraterrestrial Wright brothers moment. Wright brothers developed the first powered flight, said Thomas Zbrechin. I'm sorry, Associate Administrator of NASA's Science Mission Directorate. The rover landed safely on the surface of Mars Thursday after launching from Earth on July 30th. There we go, there's that date again. It's probably rounded up to 4 pounds, Nick. Perseverance already set back. Impressive set of images. She's safe, ready to go through a checkout phase before starting her journey across the surface. Mission teams heard directly from the helicopter for the first time, and it's good news. Ingenuity is currently tucked up beneath the rover, attached to Perseverance's belly, which we just saw was dropped off. And there we go. There's a good tweet, and a good animation of it too. This comes right from Perseverance, tweeting from Mars. Ingenuity, the Mars helicopter I carry, is working as expected. I'm currently charging it, but once I set it down, it'll rely solely on its solar panels. If it survives the brutally cold Martian nights, the team will attempt flight. There's the animation. Pretty neat how it's a exploratory robot within an exploratory robot. Yeah, NASA has a stream it too. I set a reminder for that. More images. I don't think they're going to do anything with Ingenuity, right? I know they're going to release the video of the landing itself. So, like, this image right here. Let's see if we can take a look at some of these pictures. Like, this picture right here is of the actual landing. So, there's the surface of Mars. They are way, way, way high up in the Martian atmosphere. And what this is attached to, this is Perseverance. It's attached to literally a rocket, almost UFO disc-shaped thing, and they call it a sky crane. And so, because Martian atmosphere is so thin, you can't really just land how you would on Earth. You need to decelerate more. But the more you carry, the heavier it is. So their workaround here is to generate downward thrust and slow down the descent with a rocket above it, the sky crane. I don't know if they'll show an animation of it. This is actually life-size replica of it. Yeah, that is a real image. They have video, Nick. You probably are aware, but for others, they have video of the landing. The first time they've recorded a landing from the sky crane. So that's hopefully what the stream's going to be about later on. So he's saying if you wave your hand in front of your face and you feel that air hitting your face, you would only generate 1/100th of that current on Mars if you did that in front of your face. And so, again, a helicopter needs to move air. Planes need to move air. That's how they fly. That's how they generate lift. A downward force to go in opposite directions. Sir Isaac Newton, right? Well, if there's not a lot of air, there's not a lot of ways to generate lift.
eventually see what the humanity to actually get to Mars and learning more about what the planet is and whether or not there is actually life ever there on the planet.
That's also something I didn't bring up and I forgot about is they're actually storing samples. First time that we're going to store samples from Mars to return to Earth. How they're going to return that, I'm not sure myself. Future missions might be the way they do that. And so I think Nick said this was only 2 meters. It's very far away. I mean, that you kind of looks like parts of the crater. I thought it was very high up. First color image released from Perseverance. So you're looking at Mars in HD. And it's only going to get better from the next couple of months out, too, in terms of images and video. And it's brought up. There's a stream from NASA at 2 o'clock. You can take a look at that. I'll be watching, seeing what kind of footage came from the sky crane and landing Perseverance onto Mars itself. All right. One of the wheels. Looking at the rocks there on Mars. Oh, there we go. I wanted to just show at least an artist rendition. The pictures are loading. There we go. Oh, come on now. There it is. Right from JPL. Nice diagram. Let me get myself out of the way. So, very similar to what you're going to find out when we're finishing Apollo 13. It almost looks like a command module. Has a heat shield on the bottom, ejects the heat shield as it comes in from entry. Inside, where you would have astronauts back with Apollo 13 and the Apollo program, you have Perseverance with the sky crane. So the parachute will drift it away, sky crane hangs back, downward thrust because there's not a lot of air on Mars itself to generate lift, and it's going to drop by tether Perseverance onto the surface of Mars. And then the crane detaches and flies away. So it's almost like an extra step in the descent, which is needed because Mars, again, doesn't have enough air to slow down a module like this. So how about you? Could you build something like this with a very simple kind of Robo Sim? I used to use Incredibots in class, have kids build robots, build submarines to explore different places underwater, surface of a planet, surface of a moon that's not our moon, on another planet. And the premise here is, I'll just keep things default. The premise here is just using 3 shapes. A circle, a rectangle, and a triangle. Alright? And I'll link this into the chat of the stream, and I'll also put it in the description if you want to use it. Alright? Play around with it, if it works for you. It might not work if you're using Chromebooks. We'll see. I hope it does. Circle, rectangle, triangle. Alright? So 3 shapes. Building 3 shapes. And then there are joints, how you hold these shapes together, just like you would in real life. You know, like a welded joint or a bolt or something to that nature. There are fixed joints, rotating joints, and sliding joints. So a fixed joint would be like welding something together. It's not going to move. You're taking 2 pieces, combine them into one. Okay? A rotating joint would be like the axle of a wheel, something that will spin on. The ball bearing of a skateboard, fidget spinners. The center of a fidget spinner would be a rotating joint. Okay? And there are also sliding joints, which are like pistons, up and down, forward, back. So, for example, if I wanted to make, I don't know, a lame version of Perseverance, okay? If I just click and drag, I can size a rectangle. I can change its density. I can do all kinds of things, copy, paste, delete, rotate. I'm just going to leave it there as that rectangle. And then I don't know, I gotta make, there's 6 wheels on Perseverance. I'm gonna make 3 because we're kind of in a 2D format here. I'm gonna copy, I'm gonna paste it. Copy, paste, probably gonna have to copy it again. I'll put the wheel there, put a wheel there, put a wheel in the middle. I gotta make sure they're aligned up. How do I do that? I can go to view. Oh, where's the grid? Sometimes there was a grid. Maybe I'm thinking of Incredibots 3, which doesn't work anymore. Ooh, extras. I don't want to show you that. I want to see if you can do it on your own first without extras. So try to make the wheels as parallel as I can to the ground. Alright, if I hit play, nothing happens. I can drag things, but they're not attached. That's not what Perseverance is like. So how about I connect these wheels a little better? So I'll make a rectangle here. Copy paste. Paste. And I want these wheels to rotate. So I'll put a rotating joint right there. I want to hold these kind of frames in place with a fixed joint, so I weld them into the body. There we go. I hit play. Well, I got one wheel on. The others still need an attachment. Alright, so again, I try to make that rotating joint in the center, because if I don't make it in the center, then we're going to have a wheel that flops around on a different axis. We don't want that. Whoop. What's going on there? Fix that together. Drag that over. There, now it's not floppy. Not going to fall apart on me. Put a rotating joint somewhere in the center. I'm going to enable the motor now. Rotating joint. I'm going to have to do this. It's not exactly in the center. Got to pull that down here. See if I can re-weld that together. Put a rotating joint in now. Nope, too far down. Undo. Undo. There. There's the center. Enable motor. It worked. Weld it in. Did I enable this motor? Got to make sure all your motors are enabled. Right is clockwise. Left is counterclockwise. Basically, hit the arrow right, you're going to go right. Hit the arrow left, you're going to go left. Hit play. And here's my Rover. Different things you can do, obviously, with sliding joints, rotating joints. You could also make something, you know, where you have, I don't know, like a little cube. Little cube, and, I don't know, funny little triangle shape. Can rotate that around. Thought I could rotate it. Come on now. Oh well. This is just a demonstration, right? Rotating joint. Hopefully I get all 3 there. Nope. Alright, whatever. I'll see what you guys come up with in a second. Oh, I should have put the joint in there later. There. Alright. I forgot to put a fixed joint in. And one of these isn't attached. It didn't go all the way through. Alright, I'm gonna put my Ingenuity on my Perseverance. and then I can eventually make a little propeller. So you can play around with this. I'll link it into the stream. See if it works. I'm really interested to see how you do. You know, send me... I don't know if you can record it, but send me a video or what you got. Oh, I can't get in there right this second. Oh, man. I guess let's go find the stream, huh? If it works, play around with it. See if you can make Perseverance, see if you can make Ingenuity, see if you can make something for yourself. Okay? If you get the hang of it, you know, building different shapes and different joints, it's tough going back. It's a little buggy because it's not the original sim. You can play with the advanced sandbox and you can turn the terrain into something else. So let's say we want to land on Mars, right? So we'll make it a large sandbox. We'll make it flat land. Instead of grass, we'll make it Mars. I forgot. I didn't know there was a Mars setting. We'll make it Mars. Sky. We'll make it dusk because it's not. There's a Mars sky. I was gonna say because there's not a lot of air in Mars. You're not gonna really get a bright blue sky. We can lower gravity a hair. Less gravity on Mars. Hit OK, and now you have Mars. Shouldn't be a red sky. It should be like a dusk, twilight-ish kind of sky. But you get the point. Alright, and then you can try making a robot. Had some cool creations in the past. Hopefully it works. If not a big deal. But I thought it'd be something cool to try. Okay? If you got nothing else to do today. Which, you know, make sure you're checking Aspen. Make sure you're ahead on your assignments. Tomorrow we finish Apollo 13. The exciting second half of Apollo 13 where they have to deal with lots of problems on how they're going to get home. Not just the initial oxygen problem. Any last questions? Again, there is a stream by NASA today, 2 o'clock, YouTube. If you just search NASA Perseverance, it will probably pop up. Alright. So I'm going to end the stream. Hope it was a fun little distraction for today. Get to learn something about Ingenuity and Perseverance. I know there's a good number of you that are really interested in space. That's awesome. And hopefully we get to learn a lot more from Perseverance and Ingenuity. I know NASA's trying to look at a helicopter for Titan. So that's pretty cool. Alright. Just NASA will pop up. There you go. Even easier. NASA, go find it at 2 o'clock. It'll be good. Alright? Alright, catch you guys later. See you tomorrow. You too, Trevor.